And tell me a bit about your industry and how you see that now changing over the next 2 to 3 years. And secondly, how do you think that's going to affect your ability to attract and retain the right talent for you?
Sure. So I mean, look, from the business side for us as a company, we kind of play at the intersection of media, technology, and learning. That's broadly our space. Certainly, the media and learning sides are just undergoing massive disruption at the moment. I think we are seeing TV channel viewing really decline. Kids TV viewing in the UK is probably down about 50% over the last 7 or 8 years. That's accelerating. Lots of the big trusted brands that used to help people navigate have kind of gone away, and you're moving into a world where instead of Sky being the one place that you would go, or your pay TV subscriber being the one place that you would go to really organize all of your media for you, you have this much more fragmented environment of direct-to-consumer players like Netflix and apps like us and legacy of TV channels. And that, similarly on the learning side, learning used to be all about what happened in school. There's now a lot more places that you can go for that. So I think we face a very fluid environment. We face things which are going to change, and that's where a lot of our opportunity comes from, if you like. I think what is interesting about that from in terms of attracting and retaining people, is you see some of that fluidity and some of that change, I think, also in the kind of the career paths that people are looking for. Where obviously no one's looking for a job for life anymore. But I do think you're seeing more and more that people want to kind of come in and almost do big projects. Want to spend like a couple of years getting really good at something, getting some good experience, and then expect to move on. And maybe expect to move on to a different role or a different company or a different country. And it's going to be, I think, the exception rather than the rule that you have people come in for, and spend 10 years growing with the company. And I think that's really caused us to, one, think about what our metrics are. I mean, if we don't retain someone, if someone wants to move on, is that always a bad thing? And the answer is probably not always. If someone's come in, done a really good job, grown with the company, got good stuff done, and then wants to go traveling or go and live in another country or get an experience in a completely different industry, traditionally you would think of that as a failure. Actually, I think increasingly you're going to have to accept that that's what people want, and it's not necessarily a reflection on you as the company. So I think, one, there's getting comfortable with that. The other thing that we try and do, and again, this is not always easy to make time for, but is to really spend time with your people, and particularly the people you want to retain, and understand what do they want from the next 6 months, what do they want from the next 12 months, where are they growing and developing as people, and are we the right place for them to achieve that, and are there ways that we can structure ways that help them achieve that. And I think when we get it right with our kind of people retention and people management is when we get those conversations right.
Got it. Tell me this, Nick. If you were giving yourself 20-year-old self your advice, if you're looking back, what's the one piece of advice that you tell yourself now?
Yeah, I was thinking about this one. I listened to the earlier podcast that I think you guys did with Matt from Entrepreneur First, who I think was saying something along, I can't remember exactly, but saying something along the lines of you had more time than you maybe think you do, and you have more time to take risk. And I would certainly say when I started out, I was very focused on getting on with stuff, and I was very focused on being on a path. I felt like, in a weird kind of way, despite the fact that I finished uni when I was barely 21, you kind of felt the clock ticking. So I went into a management consulting job, which was a great job. I took good experience from, set me up well for other roles. But looking back on it, I wasn't super passionate about strategy consulting for the oil and gas industry, which is where I ended up. It wasn't really what I was excited about. And I do think actually there would have been no downsides and quite a lot of upsides to taking 2 years and saying, hey, do you want to do something different? Do you want to try starting a business? Do you want to go work with a smaller company? Do you want to follow a passion project? Because even if I'd done those for 2 years and it had been a complete disaster, provided I'd taken something from it, provided I'd spent time with interesting people, provided I'd done interesting things, it's not a bad thing to start working in strategy consulting when you're 24 instead of 22. Right? Like, in retrospect, like there is that ticking time clock was really not, like, it was not ticking in the way that I thought it was at all. So I'd probably try and I'd probably just say, look, just you've got this really valuable period between 21 and 25 where you really have permission to fail. No one's no one's really relying on you. Like, use that time to do stuff that you care about and find out what you're exceptional at.
Brilliant. Nick, if people want to find out, and thanks for sharing your insights today, if people want to find out more about you, connect with you, find out more about the company, how can they do that?
So Twitter's always good. So I'm at NickBRW on Twitter. So I'm there most days. You can find us as a company at www.hopster.tv. And there's an email address there to get in contact with us too.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks so much.